It's us. It's you. We're here. Together. Why are we here? For another exciting week on You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, Argentina's number 5 television show podcast.
And I don't think we've kept that. I think we've been drastically falling since, but we're going to wear that badge proudly for the rest of our lives. Welcome to the show. You can officially support You Can't Disappoint a Podcast now on Patreon at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. It's the place to go to help us move this show forward, and there's all kinds of exclusive content, fun interaction, events with Steven and myself, and all types of ways to influence our show on a weekly basis. So please consider supporting us on Patreon.
If you want to get in on the action, make sure you email us your trivia, your MVP, and your funniest moments from that week's episode over to our email at can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com, and we will read it right here on the show.
We sure will, even if you beg us not to. Also, hang out with us on the socials every week off the podcast. You know, we're on Facebook and YouTube under our podcast title. You can also find us on Instagram at Can't Disappoint Podcast and Twitter, where we probably do the most of our jovial lollygaggery at You Can't Disappoint. So come hang out with us over there.
Yeah, make sure you you smash that like and subscribe button.
Give us that attention that we so desperately crave.
Yeah, throw us your hearts, your wallets, and a couple kisses here and there, and we'll keep on pushing out this baby of ours that we call You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
We're friends, Annie. Remember? We played Dungeons and Dragons together.
That was a game. This is Paintball.
This town is exactly enough space for you and I, pretty boy. But any of us gains a single pound, and I'm gonna have to shoot you.
That started off kind of nice.
Thanks.
Because, you know, there's enough room for us
There's
both.
enough.
But it took a
world
turn
was
that I
wide
should have
enough
seen coming, I guess.
For Zachary and me.
Welcome, everyone, to You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. If that wasn't a way to announce it's going to be the same thing as always, I don't know what is. We're back another week. We're beginning the end of season 2. We've just got one episode after this, which is insane.
That's nuts. How have we already gone through the second season?
Yeah,
I feel like we just started it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we're doing the first half of it today, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Glad to be here.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Because I have to, get into...
You got to get into this one. Okay,
no,
go for it.
But now I've built it up more than anything. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's better be good.
It's really great to be back doing the show another week. Hi, I'm Bean Allergy. Because I couldn't just be like, I'm Zach, and I needed to, talk into... I'm Bean Allergy.
I'm Steven, and you're dry, sugar. That was my favorite line from the entire episode.
Welcome to... I really liked... I wouldn't touch this toilet with my big sister's toe. Welcome to You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. Another week. I'm glad to be here. Shout out right off the top at our $10 and up patrons over at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. That's Brian Thurman, Justin Brummett, Danny M. Lugo, Mary Baker Badisa, all people that we appreciate their support to the extent of making those noises.
Yeah, that's about as much as I got, and I'm going to give it to you.
If you like what we do here, there's much more of the same over at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. We do a live pre-show, You Can't Dis a pre-show there every week with guests, with games, with just, really whatever we feel like doing once we turn on the camera. It's really fun every week. You get this show early all the time. I have side podcasts over there like Nerdstalgia. We've done bonus reviews, all kinds of fun stuff over there. That starts at $5 to help support the show. $10 and up, you get your name mentioned, like we just mentioned those lovely people.
Yeah, come join the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you know what's good for you.
And we'll talk about a little bit deeper in the show. There's some new incentive of recent to go be a patron. If you're
It's
not
true.
already.
There's even more icing on top of these cakes.
Right.
So come take a nibble.
We also, we can't start a show without putting a little icing on the cake of our community daddy at Communities on Twitter. Their support means a lot. You know it. We're celebrating a year of You Can't Disappoint a Podcast this week, both with this, the first half of our Season 2 finale, and also with a bonus birthday podcast that is out as soon as this one is out, too. So once you're done listening to this, there's a little extra cream that we've squeezed out for you this week.
For free for you guys as a birthday present from us. We took a little look at something very special and near and dear to both of our hearts, and we really got to experience something.
Well, we can tell them we want people to go listen
quite,
to it.
I would call it quite captivating, personally.
Yes, because it's not like, no one's going to be like, oh, Zach and Steven are talking about the motherfucking cape. No, they'll be like, oh, cool, that sounds funny. Maybe. That's more what I'm hoping for. So, yeah, sorry to spoil. But we did our birthday episode where we both talked about the year of the podcast that we've done, and we watched the first episode of The Cape, which was incredibly silly and pretty fun to talk about, and you should check it out.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday to you.
I feel like a big, bright birthday boy, and so that makes us extra thankful for our community papa today, because without him, we never would have been able to plant our seed into what we call You Can't Disappoint a Podcast, right?
It's true. He is the big old oak tree that us little acorns stumbled off of one day and sprouted into little oak trees ourselves.
Yes.
And now we're just photosynthesizing under the shade of his branches.
One could almost say that we have his seed planted into us each and every day to help us become big, beautiful, branchy boys.
You know, our big,
gonna
beautiful,
love that
branchy pop really helped us become the branchy brothers that we are today. And, you know, I love you, 15 minutes, brother. I call him 15 minutes, brother, because he's 15 minutes older than I am. So we're not exactly twins. We didn't pop out at the same time.
All the time, Communities is finding excuses to respond to stuff that we're doing with please stop doing that. And, you know, we're rounding up. When we started the second season, you know, it can't help but feel like a new season of the podcast, even though it's just another week out or something. And we can implement some changes. The second season, we brought in some stuff like you recapping the episodes every week,
which I love.
And we brought in doing some of those like sponsor bits that we've done throughout the season. That's been a lot of fun. Maybe next week or next season, to kind of respond to the concerns from our community papa, I think we should implement really, really doubling down on it and proving that we've not yet begun to make it sound creepy.
Like, I want there to have to be a Steven's mom content warning right before.
There probably should be already.
Probably, but I want it to really warrant
I think,
it.
who are we kidding? I think she's stopped listening months ago.
Sometimes she'll be like, I was listening to your podcast, I'm not caught up, and I'm like, oh, that's okay, like I'm not either. And you know, but I think she listens every once in a while. My sister, I think, listens every week, maybe. I don't know.
Then we should probably warn her. Because I'm sorry.
She's fine. I feel like she's fine.
They're probably mid-20s by now, right?
Yeah, I think she's driving. Just
How's
kidding.
your
My
week
sister's
been,
like 13.
buddy?
It's
my
been
big
good.
birthday boy.
It's been a fun birthday week. Lots of dancing, getting ready for a competition next week. Shout out to my dance partner and a patron, Danny M. Lugo. Once again, want to put the offer out there. If anybody wants to shell out the cash, you can also hit the dance partner tier.
Danny.
Yeah. You guys will have a fight to the death, a dance fight, of course, but with weapons.
For now,
and
right.
The winner gets to be my dance partner. So
it's astounding that no one's taken you up on this offer yet.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Maybe people are a
Can't
couple
believe
weeks
it.
behind. They're working their way.
Step up, people. Come on, cowards.
Yeah.
Cowards. Let's get right into that. We have a big announcement to make this week.
Yes, we do.
And now we've got to perk up because we're about to do a video
Something that will
segment
play
for you
again.
audio listeners. All right, everyone, your friends at You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. To wrap up our coverage of Season 2 of Community, we're doing another giveaway.
Giveaway.
Right, and since Season 2 was so much bigger, we're doing a giveaway that's even bigger because you're going to get the complete series of Community on DVD, which I know it's streaming everywhere, but then you get all the commentaries, all the special features. You're going to get...
Dungeons and Dragons.
That's true. You're going to get a Chang pop vinyl, brand new, that he's decorated in the Season 1 paintball outfit to kind of celebrate what we're covering right now, the Season 2 paintball finale. You're going to get 2 t-shirts, one that's paintball themed and one that is Dungeons and Dragons themed. They're both really cool. You're going to get a set of Remedial Chaos Theory dice provided to us by the great Alex over at 6 Seasons in a Podcast. And we might throw in a couple little stickers and postcard community type action, right?
Yeah, there's going to be lots of perks to this bad boy. We're going to get a bunch of stuff for you and then give it away now.
There's 4 ways to enter. It opens at May 24th at midnight, so if you're watching this, it's open right now. You have until June 7th at midnight to enter, and the winner will be revealed in our Season 2 Roundtable special on June 9th. There are 4 ways to enter. First of all, you can retweet the video that is pinned on our Twitter account of this video, and that gets you 1 entry. That's all you got to do. That's an entry. You can also listen to our podcast, this week talking about a fistful of paintballs, next week talking about for a few paintballs more, and in between on our special 1-year birthday special, we're going to give out a secret word. And if you DM us or email us at can'tdisappointpodcast@gmail.com with that secret word, you get 2 entries for each secret word.
2 entries.
Yes, and the other thing that you can do is you can leave a review of our podcast on Apple Podcasts if you haven't done it already, or if you have done it, you could send a screenshot of that, and that gets you 4 entries if you send in that screenshot to us or email it to us. And the last way is by becoming a patron of ours at patreon.com/can'tdisappointpodcast. There are tiers starting at $5, and in each of those tiers, it'll say on the website, it gets you another set of entries from 1 to 10.
Woo.
So all kinds of ways to enter, all kinds of stuff to win. You got to go do it, right?
Yeah, go get that money. It's free real estate.
Now that it's just us, listeners,
Oh,
we can put that away.
the masses. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go enter the giveaway. It's super exciting, and we're excited to have stuff to give out to people.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see who wins.
Fingers crossed.
I
I would
hope-
love all that stuff.
Honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the television program Community. Okay. What? Were you not prepared? Did you not watch
I
the
thought we were
episode this
doing
week?
the Cape again this week. Sorry.
But the Cape is after this one. The
The
continuity on this show
Let me
is-
rephrase that.
is awful.
Okay. I only watched the Cape this week.
We're
I
talking
just couldn't peel
about
away from it.
Season 2, Episode 23 of Community. It's a fistful of paintballs.
You know, I wish they would have gotten Clint Eastwood for this.
Yeah, but unfortunately, and this is true, he had been dead for 10 years at this point.
Do you remember that Super Bowl commercial with Clint Eastwood where he was like, "It's halftime, America"?
No.
It was like for the NRA.
Do I look like someone who's watched more than 1.5 Super Bowls generously?
No, but Clint Eastwood is like old and Republican.
I did watch his film The Mule like 2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Was it good?
It was fun to keep up with who looked more asleep, me or Clint Eastwood.
I bet Clint won every time, didn't he?
Yeah, you'd be. Well, I mean, I wasn't there to know, but I would imagine. The episode was directed by Joe Russo, and it was
Andy
written,
Richter's in this?
Did that sound like Andy Richter when I said that?
Directed.
Oh.
It was and directed
That's a little
by
bit of a
Joe
stretch.
Russo.
It was written by Andrew Guest, who also wrote Advanced Criminal Law, Romantic Expressionism, Messianic Myths in Ancient Peoples, and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This is his last credit on the show.
Wow.
And it originally aired on May 5th, 2011.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Cuatro, just the day after. It was the day after Cinco de Cuatro.
I was really confused. I was like, wait, I thought.
Let's do some trivia. I've got 4 questions.
All right, strap your socks in because I have 1, 2, 3,
Oh, no.
4, 5.
Wow.
6. I think.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So many birthday presents. Sorry that I didn't wrap as many for you.
It's okay. Summer softballs.
Okay, then give me 2.
What was Vicky's major?
Dance.
Yeah,
That's
good for you.
half
Vicky.
of one of my questions.
Ooh, and then what concert was the Black Rider going to?
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do the one that was obvious and you'll probably roll your eyes at. Are you able to name each study group member's calling card?
Annie was the ace of hearts.
Yes.
Jeff was king of spades.
Yes.
Britta was queen of spades.
Yes.
Abed was jack of clubs.
Yes.
Troy was king of clubs.
One more.
Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go
You're so close.
queen of clubs.
So close. She was the ace of clubs.
Ace of clubs. Oh, I was
But
so
that was
close.
really good. You did a great job.
Thank you. I knew better than I thought I did.
Nice.
Good question though.
It was the easiest one.
What
Not the
did
easiest
Pierce-
one to
but,
answer.
like,
It was the easiest
obvious,
one to pick
yeah.
out. Sure.
What did Pierce fake a heart attack last week to get out of?
Giving Abed a stick of gum.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a good line. What is the bounty on Jeff's head?
20 paintballs or pellets, whatever they were called.
Paintballs. Do you think that's a fair price, or do you think that's underselling
low.
it?
I think
Because they
that's
shoot
pretty
people
low.
like 10 times.
Yeah, that's pretty low. I think when I went paintballing before, we got like a bag of like 400 and they ran out quickly, or a bag of 100 and they
For
go out quick.
everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant just for yourself. That sounds like a lot.
No.
one
Each person,
got 400, and you're like, ah,
Yeah.
just all over the place.
basically.
You're like, wow, that was 5 minutes, and that was $50.
That's how it went. My question.
Yeah, it's your turn. It's your turn.
What do Shirley and Troy both need to do after they find the cache of ammo?
Pee? Well, Troy says, does that mean pee? I forget what they said before that, though. What he thought was a euphemism for it. What was it?
Pump.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
had to pee.
Dang,
and
I
then
had a good
Shirley,
streak.
as a reference, at first I didn't, when they first mentioned the breastfeeding thing, I forgot that Shirley just gave birth last episode.
Right.
But yeah, pump.
But yeah, it's good continuity.
Yeah,
Sure.
I like that.
I think it probably came up like that in writing. They were probably like, how can we do this big paintball special? Shirley just had the baby. They were like, just mention that she has to breastfeed a couple times. That covers it. What 2 things does Pierce know about Vicky? One of them was one of your questions.
Okay, she's a dance major and she loves Twinkies.
Great job.
Yeah. Vicky was good in this episode.
Sure.
When he betrayed the cheerleaders,
Uh-huh.
who did Chang tell Trish about?
Oh
He
my
says,
God.
Heather,
I don't.
I'm sorry I told Trish about...
I have no idea, Steven.
That would be Amber.
I have no idea, but that's a bitch move of Chang.
Yeah,
That's a
it
bitch
was.
move.
How dare you?
My last question for you. Black Rider is just an average guy with what, according to Jeff?
A big chin.
Good job. You got all of mine except for one of the calling cards, but I would call that a great showing.
Thank you. I've got one more for you.
Okay.
What room does Annie chase Chang into, subsequently being cornered by the Black Rider?
The cafeteria?
That would be the anthropology class room.
Oh, yeah. I liked the way that they used that scene, but
Yeah.
some of those you had a good variety. Some were softballs,
Some were super easy, some
stiff
were-
as hell.
Yeah.
That was fun. Let's get into what we were sent by the people. Let's see if this good luck streak continues, because it usually doesn't.
It normally does not. Okay. I will open this one first. This one's from Danny. Hi, Steven and Zach. Congrats on your first podcast birthday.
I was
Aw,
wondering when
thanks,
you were going to
Danny.
say.
Yeah. She said, it's been so fun getting to listen to you guys this whole time, and I can't wait to hear your Season 2 overall rankings and review.
Nice.
My MVP goes to Annie. I think Allison Brie's acting was amazing in this episode. I laughed the most when I saw Chang's t-shirt during the first scene because everyone is wearing super elaborate and cool costumes, and it's perfect that he would just draw on a t-shirt. Here are my questions. Okay. Besides paintball, what were the other 2 surprises at the end of year picnic?
One of them wasn't one of them like somebody had a heart attack?
Maybe. I have no idea.
It was like 2 things the dean says.
Yeah, I've got no clue.
I'm not sure.
Once again, Danny, you specifically told me you were sending softballs this week, and I do not know the first one.
I like how you looked right at the camera when you said that, as if she would see that.
Maybe. What's the name of the guy serving drinks at Pierce's? Was it Miguel?
Miguel.
That was funny.
Like, Miguel, more juice?
In what classroom does the Jeff Abed Black Rider fight happen? That was the anthropology classroom.
Wow, look at that synergy.
Mm-hmm. Name a few of the cards shown from when the study group is voting. Okay.
Let me do some, see what I can
for it.
remember without, like, looking at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Annie was the ace of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff was the jack of spades?
No.
Jack of clubs.
No.
King of spades.
Yes.
And Britta was the queen of spades.
Yes.
Shirley was the ace of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Troy was the king of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Abed was the king of spades.
Mm-mm.
What was Abed?
Jack of clubs.
I lost who the jack was. Okay.
Yeah. What's the name of Pistol Patty's Plan B? Operation Takeover or Invade? Infiltrate, maybe.
And maybe Invade.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. One of those
Danny?
two. Much love and big hugs, Danny. Thanks, Danny. We did get
I like how Danny like annihilates us with tough questions, then she's like, haha, kisses.
Right?
As we're just like burnt to the ground.
Thank
Stupid
you.
idiots.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Danny.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
From our Papa communities. Hi, guys.
Hi.
This is the episode that got the Russo brothers the Winter Soldier movies. So if nothing else, it's the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe takeover by Community cast and writers.
Yeah, you're familiar with how tons of the Community cast have shown up in little background bits in the Marvel movies,
which is wild.
Yeah.
Also, in this episode is Juliana Gill, head cheerleader, who was Allison's partner in the singing group with the girls.
I've heard of the girls. That's cool.
Oh. That's cool. My MVP is Annie. Exceptional episode by Allison Brie. Trivia. Who is the first person we see shot by the Black Rider?
Pavel.
Is it?
That's a guess. He's one of the ones in the beginning.
Maybe. I don't know. What did Pierce think was how the gang spent their summers? I don't remember that line at all.
How the gang spent their... Nah, no, I don't.
What were the names of the two groups? They had names. Chang betrayed after betraying the study group. It was the math club
and the cheerleading squad?
Yeah, I thought so.
Unless they have like a team name.
Like club, club alliance, club group team.
Jesus Christ.
The cheerleading team girls.
Jesus
have a good one,
Christ.
guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
the
Matt.
cheerleading team girls. That's gotta be it.
Okay, answers. It was Pavel.
Nice, but
Nice.
the other two I'm not confident in.
And then 2 pool parties, dinners, and one night stands. I don't remember that line at all. And the math club and the cheerleaders alliance.
That's what you said.
I started to, but
That's what you confidently said the whole time.
The cheerleaders alliance.
I'm gonna edit it to
You
make
edit
it
that,
seem like
yeah.
that was seamless. Yeah.
Thanks for writing in, Dad. Didn't wish
Let's
happy birthday, but
right. Yeah, you didn't say, we're still waiting for that call. But it's never come on any of the other years, so why should we expect it now? Well, let's get into the next thing now that we've had our balls absolutely busted in some listener trivia. How do you feel this week? You've got a challenge ahead.
I don't know. I think after my great showing that they're going to see take place about
Good continuity. Great continuity. I loved that.
About our year in review,
Right.
or the Cape.
Yeah.
Both of those were good.
Spoilers.
Analyses.
They got to listen to it.
Bleep all that out and then be like,
Yeah,
you
okay.
want to know what Steven says? Go watch the other one.
But no, we want people. No, well, first, no one's watching it, and I want them to want to listen to it. So I don't think that's good incentive. Go listen to the 1 year birthday podcast. Steven is not in it.
There we
it's
go.
Really great.
That'll draw them in.
So we got to find out. It's a really action heavy episode. One that could be either summed up in mere seconds, or one that you could try to get so much in that you get hardly anything in. Which way do you think it's about to go?
I think I'm going to try and do too much.
Well, let's find out. Mothers, husbands, sons, wives, cousins, 8th grade history teachers.
Nice.
Let's
Shout
all
out
gather
Mr.
together in
Marlatt.
harmony on Thanksgiving Eve and find out, did Steven watch the episode this week?
Watch the episode this week?
I'm changing up the
Cadence, yeah.
yeah, sure. My rhythms and my
Oh, your rhythms
Yeah.
are changing? Is it that time of month?
weirdly it happens every week.
Is it the birth
and-
control you're on? I think that'd do it.
Well, I do get it from this guy that works at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get the timer set up. Let's hear what you've got for us.
I wish you would have said that he worked at Olive Garden, because then I would have said he's not a pharmacist, he's a chicken parmacist.
Sorry, next time I'm riffing, I'll make sure to mention Olive Garden, because
Thank you. I've got a lot of great pasta puns.
material set up for that. Okay.
I do.
Okay. No distractions. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
It's paintball time at the school again this year, and there's a prize of $100,000 from the ice cream peeps. So Fat Neil is running down the hallway, and Annie saved him from getting killed by the bullies. Then the study group meets up through one thing or another, and then there's a black guy, and he's going after them to shoot them. And then Pierce has a safe haven, but Pierce is bad. He tries to get Jeff killed.
In the beginning, I thought he's going to do this. And then you said they saved Fat Neil from the bullies, and I thought, oh no.
I thought I was
And then
okay until I said there's a
You
black.
lapsed for a while with the black guy thing, but then you kind of got some of it back at the end. It would have been nice if you got the black guy right. It would have been nice if you had mentioned the peer study group dynamic of the episode. But I think I'm going to give you a B.
Thank you. I can't. Did I say there's a black guy chasing them, trying to kill them?
That was pretty bad. Maybe it's because it's your birthday. I don't know.
Happy birthday.
I just can't do that to you on your birthday.
Thanks. Oh, but you can do something to me on my birthday, right?
So this episode, we're brothers, Steven. Come on.
Of course.
Who are we kidding? It's inappropriate. So let's talk about this episode. It's not one, like often with some of these really heavy thematic episodes, it's not stuffed with laughs exactly.
Yeah.
But there are some really funny moments. Do you have a favorite?
I do have a couple that really made me laugh. The first one was when the dean had the key to that closet, and he was like, it's right here in my shorts pocket, and just kind of points his hip at them. It's like, I guess I can get it myself.
On the commentary, they said that Jim Rash said that went longer when they filmed it, and he like really was like, "Come on!" And he even said he said to Troy, you could grab it out of my pocket if you like. And Jim said he was expecting Donald to say something really crazy, but Troy just said no.
That, or I think Pierce faking the heart attack really made me laugh a lot. That was hilarious.
This one's real. It's real. It's real.
The gurgling sells it.
Those are both good, and neither of them are the two that I singled out.
Good.
I really liked the setup of Vicky and Garrett being kind of can dancers in Fort Hawthorne, and I also really liked some of the stuff with Chang in the math club, especially when he was like, "Go get him! He's white and doesn't have a gun." Those were both pretty funny moments.
Yeah.
I thought the little we got of Chang was used really well in this episode, so I singled him out. But I really liked the Vicky and Garrett thing a lot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. It's the first half of the season finale, which is crazy that we've made it to it already. And I don't know that I've said on this podcast, but I think I've said somewhere since we've been doing this that I've never been like blown away for some reason by the season 2 paintball episodes, but didn't really know why. So I really went into it open and thinking it would change my mind. And I did really enjoy it. But based off of just this half, I still think I like Modern Warfare better than it. This one goes a lot bigger, but this one's also maybe a touch too removed from reality, as silly as that sounds.
With the
on
ice
Community
cream thing, and
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what it is. And it also doesn't help that like the action is really, really great. But first and foremost, I come to an episode of Community wanting to smile a lot and laugh a lot. And this one has like a lot of like slower paced scenes, and it's executed probably better than most of what they've ever done. But it's not quite my favorite, I don't think.
I see where you're coming from with that. Definitely, I think I like the now. This is I haven't seen the second part in a while.
Right, I almost feel like this
the
podcast is like half of a podcast because I do kind of look at them as one thing, even though they're 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I remember I agree very much with the fact that it's a little removed, right, with the scale of this fight. 'Cause it's one thing when it's just the students.
It's cool,
but when there's
it
an
feels
outside,
weird.
Yeah, it like you said, it is really cool. I enjoyed it quite a bit because I really like westerns and I like the originals like of these movies. Now they aren't like harkening back other than just the name and the style, really, but
just the very base level.
Yeah, I grew up watching a lot of Clint Eastwood and John Wayne and like Charlton Heston like westerns for some reason.
That's something that's kind of lost on me. I've never really watched a lot of westerns.
I think you would really like a lot of
it.
the Clint Eastwood ones.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. John Wayne might be a little, to just jump in nowadays. I don't know if they hold up quite the same unless you already feel some nostalgia for that like style of movie.
Right.
But the Clint Eastwood ones are damn good.
Okay. Noted.
2 Meals for Sister Sarah is my favorite.
Yeah, I liked this episode quite a bit, but I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it also takes itself like a tad bit too seriously.
I think that's true.
Yeah, let's dive into it.
You know what was a funny thing that I'm going to make a nod to? Because I laughed at all these jokes, but I didn't mention it's like my funniest moment.
Sure.
The fact of how bothered Jeff was about the Black Rider, and every time he got a chance, like, yeah, that average-looking guy. And they were like, everyone was like, okay, Jeff.
I like Jeff in this episode. They didn't focus on him that much, and and all of the stuff that he did was real classic, how Jeff would react to something.
And honestly, Jeff's taken that role in a few episodes this season, and I've really enjoyed it when he just kind of has that snarky, I'm a step back, but I'm cracking jokes about everything that's happening type of attitude. That's probably my favorite Jeff.
Yeah, I like him when I don't know, there's the joke later on that he's always texting on his phone, but there's nobody really on the other side of the phone. That's kind of a broad way of saying what I really like about Jeff's character, that he's, or like the way we compare him to Pierce sometimes, that he thinks he's so cool, and he is pretty cool, but he also like is kind of a sad, lonely old man that's kind of pervert. I really like Jeff a lot, and I kind of like that duality when they're able to make fun of him instead of just treating him like the go-to good guy, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's dig into this episode. I do really think that the opening sequence of this episode is maybe even the strongest part of the entire episode.
I think acting-wise, it really might be. Charlie Coons knocks this out of the park.
And I think the editing is really great here. Joe Russo did a great job here. It's a nice shot, of Neil really desperately running through the hallway. I like that we get Mike the Bully back. We
Yeah.
have Anthony Michael Hall back just for a second. It's a shame that, I don't know, maybe I really like what they do with the Black Rider, but maybe it wouldn't have been the worst thing if they were like, we have Anthony Michael Hall back for an episode. Let's make him the villain of this episode.
Exactly. That would have been so cool.
Good. But it was nice to see this, and you're right that Charlie as Neil did really knock it out of the park. Everyone always points to, of course, Dungeons and Dragons, where he does such a phenomenal job in that episode, and a lot of the other times he's just kind of filling in the halls of Greendale. But this is a good moment to point towards is how good of an actor he is.
Yeah. And he's like, his acting really stands out. And in a scene with Anthony Michael Hall, who is a good actor in his own right, but he really stands out here, even with Annie giving, I mean, maybe the best performance we've seen from her so far in the show. It's up
Let's
there,
talk about
but
Annie and Allison's performance in this episode for
Yeah.
a second, because she comes in, saves Neil. One thing I'm not crazy about is they get Anthony Michael Hall back and they just make him say, "My fist up your balls" again. You know, Community is not recurring jokes and repeating jokes. There's a fine line between the two, but recurring jokes, like on a show like Arrested Development or often on Community, can be really, really funny, but you usually like have to build on them, or it's part of like a mythos of the show, kind of.
Yeah.
This was just like repeating a line that the character said the last time that was funny, and it's not as funny. And that's almost sorry to already segue from Allison, but that's almost like a way to look at this paintball thing as a whole. Is it a good recurring bit, or is it the show repeating itself a little bit?
Well, and
I think
here's the
I don't
hard
think
part.
there's an immediate answer. Yeah.
I think that whether it's a joke or whether it's something like this, you don't know until the third time, right? Because you make the joke once,
Wow,
and it works.
the third, I guess you could count next week's episode as the third.
Well,
but the third paintball episode
third
is the season
season.
6 paintball episode.
Really?
There's no third season paintball episode.
Do they only do 3?
There's kind of a paintball aspect to the season 4 finale.
Yeah.
And some people consider it, but I don't really. It's like really a trilogy where there's Modern Warfare that's kind of more of a specific type of action movie. For a few paintballs more / a fistful of paintballs here are Western, and then Star Wars kind of. And then the season 6 one is modern espionage, and it's got like an espionage, like everyone's wearing suits and kind of a spy thriller vibe to it, and it's really good. I like it better than the season 2 one so as of this moment.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think that like with jokes and too with that, if it's funny the third time, then it will work in the future. But if the second time you're like, I don't know, and the third time you're like, haha, I do like that, you know. So it kind of almost depends. Now, I guess
but this is more than
I
just
do
a
consider
joke.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole concept.
Well, we were talking
whole-
about the balls thing first, and then so I'm
sure,
you know.
sure, but I think looking.
This is all about the balls, Zach.
37 seconds into the episode of Community, let's talk about Allison, because her performance in this episode is really dynamic, and I don't know that they do anything really that exciting with Annie as a character, like Annie Edison, the character that we know. I don't think there's a lot to be said here, like there is in an episode like Mixology Certification, but it's scenery that they really let Allison chew on a lot in this episode, and she does the hell out of it.
Yeah, she kills it.
Just from right here, she's got a real intense stare, and we get the first card reveal, which I love the way that this frames the episode in a lot more ways than our surface level.
Totally.
That it all goes back to, which we'll find out much later in the episode, and what's my favorite things about this episode is that there was a vote recently on whether or not Pierce should stay in the study group, and it involved everyone wanting to, like, I guess anonymous. They put in playing cards, black cards, kept him, red cards, axed him. And here in the very beginning of the episode, we introduce each study group as a card, which seems just like a thematic thing that works really well, but it plays back into the kind of emotional storyline that's going on through this episode. And the more I watched this episode, the more I appreciated that aspect of it.
I think that was so well done and so like smartly framed. Because when you first see, like I said, it seems like a thematic thing. Okay, Annie's the ace of hearts. I think the next one you probably see is Jeff. Or no, you see Abed next. He's the jack of clubs. Like, okay, that tracks. Then, like, you see Jeff and he's the king of spades. Like, okay, that's just, like, character stuff, right?
But you do kind of scratch your head a little bit why some of them are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it's pulled into the storyline, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I like it even more when I go back and watch it.
So well done. I think it's so cool.
This is Charlie Kuntz's really strong moment in this episode. The showdown between him and Annie when Annie saves him, but then wants him to like kick his guns over, and he goes to grab it, and she keeps yelling, "No, just kick him, just kick him." I thought this was a really great kind of tense action moment that happens just in the very beginning of the episode, and they both play it off super well. I even don't usually like the pun on rhyming people's names with like celebrity names with things when, I don't know, they do it all the time.
Yeah,
but I kind of liked
one.
Christina Ricci.
That was great.
And then Neil at the end saying you got to learn to trust people, but then they do try to double cross each other. It's a cool moment. I like it quite a bit, and it's a little cheesy, but it's the perfect way to kick off the episode when Neil mentions, "Come on, cut me a break. We played Dungeons and Dragons before," and we see how serious this is because Annie says that was a game, even though this is so clearly a game too. But it's not. This is paintball.
This is paintball.
And then we get probably my favorite non-traditional community opening we've had yet.
Yeah,
I think
this was
one's
awesome.
Really great.
The song worked great. The image, it kind of reminds me of like almost like the opening to Archer with the colors and like everyone having their own thing. I love it.
The opening, I could tell. It almost reminds me of a Tarantino film.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
Really, really cool. I liked it a lot. They did a great job. They always do a great job when they decide to do something stylistically different. And then we get Annie after the theme song. She jumps into this is like a science classroom.
Yeah.
Because she uses the
Bunsen
thing to
burner.
heat up her beans, Bunsen burner. She comes in here. It's kind of her safe haven. So she's unloading her guns and reloading them and being kind of vulnerable. But it's revealed in a second that Abed's in here with her, and that's a pretty cool reveal.
I like how both of the paintball episodes start after the paintball like has started, so we don't necessarily see right away how the group split up. But I really appreciate. I like that a lot.
I think the first one doesn't start that way.
The first one starts with Leonard in the hallway, doesn't it? And Abed comes and shaves Jeff.
Because I thought it started with them
happened.
I thought it started with them like inside the study group, and there's like the announcement of the paintball game, and then there's a part where like Jeff like passes out in his car. And then he like wakes up and everything's changed. And that's when Leonard's like, everyone's playing. Yeah,
okay, you're right. You're right.
Because when I was watching this one, I thought that you had me for a second though. I almost thought I was stupid as I was saying it. I like that this one doesn't open that way. I get it was perfectly fine for Modern Warfare, but this one cuts right into the action. And I almost for a second. I knew this was the first half, but for a second you are like, is this the second half of something that I should have seen the first half of already?
I really like the costuming also. Everyone's just perfect. It's so good. Troy's bright yellow
is he your
cowboy
favorite
outfit.
Is that your favorite costume?
Yeah, Troy's is my favorite. I really like Shirley and Annie's too, though.
I like what Pierce is rocking. I don't know if
Pierce
it's exactly what he's wearing here is what he's wearing later.
I think so. I think he just has the black jacket on.
Yeah,
over the blue vest.
Yeah, I like when he's just showing the blue vest a lot throughout the episode. And Jeff is wearing his low effort Halloween costume from season 1.
Yeah,
which is cool. And I like that we get a little. Not that I've seen a lot of westerns, but it seems like a pretty western standard. The way they do this flashback, how Annie kind of has a moment of like thinking how things got so out of hand so fast, and we see. What did happen, and it stays with the theming of the episode because everyone's already dressed up like that for the hoedown event or whatever. So it almost looks like an old-timey.
Also looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, that midriff is is life-saving. But you know what I mean? It almost looks like an old-timey town already.
Yeah, totally. You got the statue of somebody. You're having a nice little gathering in the town square.
Yes. All that we know from this episode, and I have a major problem with the end tag of this episode. We'll get to that later. But all that we know from here is that that Greendale is having a last day of school hoedown and picnic, and it's sponsored by this ice cream company. And there's a mascot in an ice cream costume who also is hinted to be like the CEO of this ice cream, like this anthropomorphic. Ice cream character is also like the owner of the company.
Now, one of Danny's questions was, what were the 2 surprises? It was free ice cream and some guy having a heart attack.
Nice.
So
it was
you got
just some
one,
guy
yeah.
having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I thought there was more detail than that, which was why I was less confident. The dean announces the game of Paintball Assassin. I like Troy and Abed's moment of reacting to it at the
Yeah.
same time. And everyone's kind of thinking like, okay, finally something interesting and fun is happening in Greendale. And the dean like reassures everyone that it's not going to be as crazy as last time because it's going to be a different prize. The ice cream cone said it's going to be different. It said this year will be different. And watching it the last time, I liked how vague that was, that it was a villainous, like, oh, yes, this year will be different. It's like, great, because last year was really bad.
Yeah, it went south fast. The dean didn't expect that.
Yeah, but then the ice cream cone Pistol Patty explains what the prize is, and it's $100,000. Which, if you're that's like some Hunger Games money.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That if you're a student at this community college in Colorado and you get $100,000, you could afford to go to like a whole year of actual college.
If you stretch your pennies, yeah, but that's like a major prize.
That's
anyone
if you
would
don't
go
eat
crazy
anything
for.
all year, you could afford it.
That's how it works.
I like how they have the guns all set up. I like how they have more the guns fit the situation. It's
Yeah,
just
they're
not
all like pistols. And
the colored guns from last time. And I guess it was something in the writer's room that Dan felt like for them to be able to do that, he had to make sure that there were actually paintball guns like that. And I guess there were.
There are,
So
yeah.
These are actual paintball guns.
That's
I think
cool.
the shotgun that Pierce uses later might just have red tips painted on the end of it. But as far as the like 6-shot pistols that they have, they're real airsoft guns, I guess.
That's awesome. I really like the shotguns that the Black Rider has that are the paintball ones. Those are really cool.
I don't know that I would have gotten so into last year's paintball game if I was a student over priority registration. That's pretty cool, but like I'd play for a little bit, but I wouldn't feel that bad if I got out. $100,000 is different.
Oh, this one I'm playing to win.
Ice Cream Patty was right when they said it was going to be different this year. That's different. What would be your strategy?
I would definitely go for a group bunker down strategy.
I think-
Make someone have to ambush you. I wouldn't be running around too much because you can get caught too easily.
I think I'd want to find a really good hiding place.
And just wait it out till there
And
weren't very many left.
wait as long as I possibly could. Even wait until like a winner is announced if I could, and then I'd be like, wait,
Surprise.
I was in the trash can for the last 3 days. And then they'd see that there was like a little splatter of paint on my butt or something, so it didn't count.
That's how they'd get you.
So yeah, everyone goes madcap dashing, and the dean, it fades out on him just spazzing out like, oh my god, it's gonna be so much worse. And I also liked how before the flashback, what got Annie into thinking about it was looking at the spork that she's using to eat her can of beans.
Oh my god, yeah.
And how it was a spork handed to her by the ice cream guy, I guess. I felt like that might be akin to Western movies. You look at an object that reminds you of what happened when you first got it or something.
You see a broken picture frame and you're like, I remember when my Sarah Lou was still around.
Fort Hawthorne is impressive a little bit later, but Annie's tin can setup to know like they move when people are in certain spaces around her, that's impressive.
That's nice. She really used her smarts here to set that bad boy up.
She's been thinking about this for a while. She's been thinking about this since last year, I bet. She's been thinking, okay, I can hunker down in the science room because I can heat food, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she's been thinking about this all season. It was interesting here. I spoke too soon earlier. It's interesting here when Abed shows up. How exactly does that happen? Was he there the whole time, or was he just like there in the blink of an eye?
Blink of an eye. I think Abed moves quickly. He moves swiftly.
The Jack of Clubs.
Exactly.
I like the interaction here of, Abed says, I heard that Annie never shoots an unarmed man. And Annie says, well, people don't usually eat my beans. You shouldn't have come unarmed. And Abed's like, I didn't. I thought this was a cool little standoff between the two of them.
This was great.
Abed strangely doesn't get a ton to do in this episode, but he really commits, of course, to every bit that he does get.
Yeah, he plays his part really well.
Abed talks Annie into meeting with Jeff to discuss options so they can stay safer. And that cuts us to Chang and Jeff, who are together, and they're being hunted down. I really like this scene. Danny was so pointed about Chang's shirt and why that's so perfect. It's a really funny touch that, he's living in the vents, so he probably only has a couple shirts. He can't really just get a full Western costume like everybody else.
That's so funny.
That is really funny. I almost didn't even think anything of it because it's just Chang, right?
I didn't notice
really
there was
funny.
anything until the second time I watched it. And I was like, oh.
It's not often that I say this, but I would have almost been okay with there being significantly more Chang in this episode.
Yeah, he was so funny every time he was in it, and I think he played a great role.
I kind of like how there's this running thing of how he keeps double-crossing whoever he's in a group with.
Yeah.
But they don't ever cut to it like a B-plot. It just, they run into him having been a part of that a couple times. I almost would have liked if we saw a little bit more of it.
That would have been funny.
Jeff is the king of spades, it's revealed, and Chang, like we just said, he totally sells out Jeff because he feels like he can get in with the math club because they're all Asian. I don't think they say anything other than math club, do they?
No.
He's white and he's out of ammo. I really like that a lot. But Abed, again, he comes in for the save, and he... this episode has some moments where they should have gotten shot, but they don't because it's the first half of a two-parter.
Yeah.
Somehow Abed's able to shoot out all three of the math club people.
Well, he's the human shield, Zach. That's the key.
And he gets Jeff and takes him away so they can meet up with Annie. Really great action shot. It makes sense then that the Russos were a part of this and they see what they can do with an action set piece. And this gets handed around Hollywood a little bit, and now they're some of the biggest directors in the world.
It's true.
Math rules. Chang is just so easily won over.
I also like that Chang stuck with the math club after they were all defeated, kind of like he does later on too, but I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. What is the beef with Jeff and Annie here?
I'm assuming maybe something happened at the beginning of the episode, or maybe they're mad at each other over... I could see a scenario in which Jeff gets mad at Annie because she voted for Pierce to stay. Spoiler, but
maybe. But it doesn't seem like
happened?
seem like Jeff's mad at Annie. It just seems like Annie isn't very happy to see Jeff, I guess, when they've mentioned Jeff. Maybe it's just because Annie is a man with a plan during the game.
Yeah.
So they all talk as a small group, kind of. They start to hear about Pierce. I like how this episode kind of dances around that something went down with Pierce and how there's some weirdness in the group with Pierce because there has been all season. He's been alienated all season. He's been the villain all season. I like that they did an episode at the end of the season where they're finally acting off of how it's been all year and that they don't just right out tell you. Yeah, that's one of my, if not my favorite thing about this episode. That I really think that's great storytelling through this themed episode.
I agree.
But they fight a little bit over it, and when Jeff and Annie have their he's a jerk because we exclude him. We exclude him because he's a jerk. It's even more telling when you know that there was just this vote and they were almost rid of Pierce, but Annie was the reason that he stayed. And we get the first flashback to it, but it's not at all revealed what it is yet. Everyone's getting cards, and Pierce walks in and sees what's going on, and we just assume, like Pierce assumes, that they're playing cards, and Pierce was excluded. Then sadly, Pavel gets shot right outside the room. I like his, I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. You got me. Because they do shoot everyone
so many times. Yeah.
They hear the spurs, which gives away the Black Rider, this new character.
The Black Man.
That we have this week. The Black Man. What do you think? Do you watch Lost?
No.
So you don't know who this guy is?
I've seen him before, but I didn't know he was from Lost.
He's one of the main characters on Lost, yeah. He played Sawyer on Lost. Sawyer was kind of the bad boy on Lost. One thing that I will say for this episode, I feel like... not to sidestep totally. I think he's really great as this character. He doesn't have to do much, but he brings all the swagger you need to it, and that goes a long way. I think some of the visual effects in this episode are lacking compared to the other paintball episode. Just then when he shot, I feel like you could really tell the fake smoke was coming out of his paintball. There's a moment later in the episode where we see, kind of similar to in the first paintball episode, where two paintballs collide, but it's just one paintball going through the air, and to me it looks really animated.
I agree. It does not look nearly as good as when that first paintball.
It looks more like the show we're reviewing right after this podcast, The Cape.
The Cape.
They all make it away from the Black Rider, but Annie, just with the skin of her teeth, he has one of those guns that shoots out 5 bullets, and that'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I really like the idea of that shotgun that does like the buckshot like that. That's cool.
Totally.
That's really cool.
So that's Abed has a little super meta comment about how the Black Rider is network TV attractive. And then Britta shows herself, and there's another standoff where everyone's pointing their gun at each other. She shows up and no one was expecting. But she's not alone. She's teamed up with Shirley and Troy. I like Troy's reveal of being in the trash can, and like he's probably been there for a while. I really like Troy's smile in the picture when they zoom in on him.
Yeah. I like how happy Troy and Abed are to see each other, and everyone's like, hey, focus. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, it sets up a thing that maybe they were teamed up in the beginning and something happened that split them up and they thought the other one was dead and kept going for themselves, but now they're still around.
Yeah.
And this introduces the concept of Fort Hawthorne. Shirley, Troy, and Britta are deputies for Fort Hawthorne, this like peace place, this green zone structure that Pierce has put together, and they've been arrested. It's this place with this government and these deputies, and they bring them in. It kind of reminds me of like the Meow Meow Beans episode a little bit, or the Floor is Lava episode a little bit.
Totally. I love a lot of things that Pierce kind of does in this episode. I think overall he like really nails it. Anytime where Pierce gets to be any sort of bad guy, he really does well with it. Yeah. And this is one of my favorite parts of the episode, is the fact that, you know, Pierce has created this system in which he's in charge, but also it's kind of a good thing because people can be safe inside, they can rest. So
but
it's
he's
him being
doing
a bad
it to
guy.
Get back at the study group, but he accidentally did something good for everybody.
It's great.
There's some great weirdness in this. I love that Starburns is like the watchman at the guard tower, and he makes everyone surrender their guns, but says also he has a bag and you have to put your drugs in here. And then as they're all going inside, he kind of prods again. He's like, drugs? No?
Drugs,
Any
though?
drugs?
Like
Come on.
anybody?
And no one does. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Leonard playing the piano is really funny, but the shot of Leonard playing the piano, he's doing like can music, but Leonard Erdman is running one finger over the keys, not touching them, I don't think.
No.
So that's really funny. People are gambling. It's a classic. They've shown up at the Saloon. Pierce, the boss man, is notified that the study group's arrived, and he's here to, I don't know, kind of make himself look like tough shit. And like they need him more than he needs them is the whole thing.
He's the big boss hog.
We learned that it's only been 5 hours since the whole thing started, and already Pierce has built this in 5 hours, and how quickly Greendale can degrade from people that go to college to like this post-apocalyptic Western shoot-up. Like I just love it.
So funny.
Fort Hawthorne's great. They're invited to sit a spell. They're invited to go to the bathroom if they need to. He's been able to build this all based on people needing to use the restroom. That was really smart of him to just hunker down the bathrooms because people will have to go, and they want it to be a safe space when they're in a game like this. He's been trading bathroom trips for paintballs, which is also really smart. And he also has built this whole kind of saloon where they're performers, in the bit where he says like a little show if you like, and Jeff looks over to Vicky kind of sexily dancing, but then Pierce says, well, when Jeff kind of scoffs at it, Pierce says, we got something that's a little bit more for you. And Garrett's also dancing like it, and Leonard says over the piano, 'cause you're gay.
Garrett's face as he's dancing on the table, it's like just so happy and free.
He's earning his money.
Oh yeah.
Jeff, I really like how he acts in this scene. He's really stoic, and he really stands his ground against Pierce. Like he's not taken in by all the flashy of Fort Hawthorne. He wants to know what's on the other side of this, right? What does Pierce want? But they're going to have a feast. I love the feast and how they treat it like it's this big deal, but it's just the vending machine food. So it's Twinkies over a bed of hot Cheetos, and Pierce says the Twinkies are quite good tonight. Looks like they're drinking fruit punch.
Yeah, there's just like fires around the table.
Yeah.
And, like,
there are a
stage
lot
lights.
of movies that have scenes like the boss man has everyone over for dinner and explains like the ruse. It almost reminds me of Leo DiCaprio in
Django.
Django, to think of a Tarantino movie that I guess this kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. And Pierce really, with that hat, has the absolute look of a cowboy you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
Totally looks like a slave owner, right? Does the timeline work out for that to be what he is?
It's a little late.
That?
It's a little
late for that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not just saying when the Clint Eastwood movies come out, were they set in like the time they came out, or were they set like in the Old West?
Well, the Old West was where
there sure weren't a lot of black people, right? In the cowboy movies.
Not at all.
Yeah. Write us in. You tell us.
I think because of the weapons they have, I know it's post-Civil War. So this is like the 1880s, 90s.
And they had slavery till like the 1960s, right?
Well, fair enough.
Anyway, write us in. Tell us what you think. Would Pierce have slaves? We get another flashback of the card sequence, and it gives away a little bit more of it because Pierce reveals that he's mad that they excluded him from playing cards, and they're all kind of reacting to it. And Jeff, I guess, what, do you think he feels a little bit bad that he was going to cut Pierce out? Because he kind of says, fine, let's do what Pierce wants.
I think he does feel guilty, or he's remembering that they decided to keep him in the group so he can't continue
really
to push
do
him out.
anything too much about it. They all cheers to the study group, the one that almost fell apart or almost excluded Pierce just mere hours ago. More juice ago. Abed doesn't get to do a lot, but I liked his gestures here when he scans the room for safety and motions everyone with one wave to come in because it's safe, and they all follow suit. There's the pumping, peeing thing between Troy and Shirley, and I really like that the bit ends with him spitting, like kind of like a cowboy spit. He's
Yeah.
like, "Puh." I thought that was cool. Tough guy thing. Jeff and Annie have a conversation about Pierce, and it's kind of veiled. We still don't exactly know what happened, but we're kind of starting to get closer to the root of it. And I don't know, Jeff and Annie have a little bit of a moment here, but there's not really a lot to it, right?
Something always brings me back to you.
When are you going to teach me the dance for that?
I'll teach you. Well, it was a trial run for you and me doing it, so I'm going to have you
for
lead
your
from
real
the
dance
floor
partner, for your dance
into my
partner
arms.
in life.
Exactly. Dancing through life.
I've auditioned for so many plays singing that song.
Really?
That was my go-to for a while. Jeff stumbles into a room and just happens to stumble on Chang, who's now adopted and then betrayed another group, this time the cheerleaders. And I like that he even adopted their sweater and everything. They all shoot him, and or they try to, but Annie catches them before they can, and they save Chang. Which, why would they care? They could have just
Chang is
trying
already
to get rid of the cheerleaders.
Yeah,
and she kind of has a little bit of a distaste for cheerleaders, which I get. And I like how Chang he hears that something's happened, and he doesn't care who it is or what the group is. He's like, "Do I hear someone? Who are you? Can I join you?" And they say no. And he's okay, and he runs away looking for another group. I really like it.
I like how blindfolded Chang's able to run full speed forward and then like sidestep through the door, not being able to know where he's going. Also,
he can probably see under it. He just can't take it down because his hands are tied.
That's fair.
And this brings us to the anthropology classroom. I thought they really beautifully dirtied up this room.
Yeah, that was great.
It would have been nice to get a little Duncan action in this episode.
Right, Duncan just drinking under his desk.
But maybe the idea is that all the teachers like get as far away as they can. But that could have been a thing here. For $100,000, all the teachers would have been there. The dean would have been trying to do it.
Yeah.
The anthropology classroom appears to be empty, but Annie is usurped by the black rider.
Nice.
And there's a classic, like, kind of sexy, scary confrontation with the bad guy here. I can't wait for us to be in the same room, fully vaccinated, so we can reenact this.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
My chest will certainly get all flushed, and it will be because of a bean allergy-related rash, but there's more to it than that.
Oh, always is, Zach. I'm here to shoot paintballs, sweetie, not the breeze.
The Black Rider tries to shoot Annie in the foot with the gun that he stole that was originally Jeff's, but is full of blanks. So he loses a second, and before he can grab his other gun and shoot Annie, he's surrounded by Jeff and Abed, and they're all pointing guns at each other. The Black Rider kind of has Annie hostage, and it's intense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Everything surface level about this episode is so good, and I'm still not quite getting to the bottom of. 'Cause stylistically, it blows me away, but
yeah,
it's just missing like some secret sauce for me. I don't know.
I like it quite a bit. I like Modern Warfare a lot, but Modern Warfare wasn't my number one episode of season 1.
And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I put Modern Warfare, and I don't know where I'll put this one. But it's fun, but sometimes I don't know. It's fun, but there's I've complimented a lot about the emotional thread with Pierce underneath it, but that's really about all there is underneath this.
I like that part a lot. I think but that's such a good thing that I think it boosts the episode so much.
I feel like, though, the Modern Warfare had a lot of interpersonal relationships going on underneath it. It had Jeff and Britta. It had Shirley trying to get back with her kids and trying to win the money for her kids.
But I feel like that they didn't go too deep into Shirley trying to get it for her kids. I mean, she mentioned it once, but then she lost, and she's like, "I'm gonna go, Britta."
But they very easily could have mentioned it here. In fact, there was more of a reason to
because she had a newborn baby.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like for an overstuffed 2-episode paintball finale, they don't quite justify how long it is with stuff that's really substantial. It's
totally, there's a lot of action
pretty.
scenes. Mm-hmm.
That being said, I do think this is one of the better action scenes in the episode. I think it's shot pretty well. The Black Rider does one of those cool. He has both of his arms stretched out and spins around with his guns. This is also though where I thought those 2 blue paintballs that try to hit the Black Rider. They look very CGI. The splatter on the wall looks very CGI. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember that bothering me as much in Modern Warfare.
No.
They all get out of it unharmed by the skin of their teeth, which is insane that none of them get hit by a paintball.
Yeah, there were 3 people shooting at each other and not one person got touched. Maybe they're bad shots, but also they're great shots because they hit from distance all the time in this, but it's fine.
It's definitely because it's part 1 of a 2-part paintball finale, so you have to have the study group alive for the second half. They get more guns. They inspect Jeff's gun, and they see that Pierce had loaded it with blanks, probably because Pierce knows that Jeff would have been one to shoot him. Do you think?
I think he just wanted Jeff to lose.
He just wants to screw with Jeff.
Yeah.
Shirley, Troy, and Britta search the dean's office for the dean, where the dean is doing exactly what I would do in a situation like this. He's got his bee costume and a little Dalmatian in this little storage bin. He would have been solid for months in there.
Oh, he would have been really good. Yeah. He just has been riddled with paintballs, though. Why did people shoot the dean so much?
That's another thing, though. I felt all of the paintballs on his body. Obviously, they didn't shoot him that many times, but they look very, like, sponged on.
Yeah.
When I feel like that didn't happen in the first one. When, like, Jeff was, like, bleeding and dirty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The study group confronts the dean a little bit at a time, and they talk about how they found the Night Rider. How they found the Black Rider. Do they think that the dean sent him in?
I think they might think that because they know that something's up.
Yeah, they know that something's up, and we get the really funny scene where they need something from him, and it's in his pants pocket, and he tries to gesture for one of them to grab it out of his pants, but they're trying to get the arsenal from last year's paintball game, which I think is a cool thing to include in this episode.
Yeah, I like that.
It was fun to get to see in a little bit Annie wield Chang's Tiger Stripe gun.
Oh, hell yeah. Which... Speaking of Chang and Tiger Stripes...
That giveaway. You can enter it right now. There's going to be a secret word a little bit later. Let's do a secret word right now. Tiger Stripes.
Tiger Stripes.
Tiger Stripes. That's your secret word for this week. If you send that into us via DM on any of our social medias or email, that will get you 2 entries into this giveaway. So go get them. Nom, nom,
Yeah,
nom, nom, nom.
and even more incentive to watch our birthday special where we talk about the cape. There's a whole nother secret word there, so that's 2 secret words that they can send us to get some extra entries in this
Yes.
giveaway.
That's a way for us to really incentivize the people that listen to our podcast every week and get all the way through it, because it's cool to use it to get some Twitter clout, but I'd rather the person who wins all the stuff from us be someone who listens to the show.
Yeah. Do you think my mom will win? Can she win? Is that allowed?
She's a patron.
It's true.
She gets all kinds of entries.
Yeah, she gets a lot of entries. Ooh.
But they get the arsenal from last year's paintball, and it really helps their chances. There's so many paintballs, there's so many guns, and the dean's kind of willing to give them up because he just wants the school to be as little of a wreck as possible, even though it's already annihilated.
Yeah. I like Troy saying that Jeff has a problem when Jeff makes an unsolicited comment about how attractive the Black Rider may or may not be.
Yeah, totally. And Abed rightfully, sometimes in a show like this, they do this in season 4. Abed comments on how awesome Annie is. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, she's really awesome today. That's almost begging for someone to watch this and be like, they're not that awesome. And in season 4, they do that. There's, in the almost paintball episode in season 4, Abed says, we just made paintball cool again. And everyone was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
But this one it's real. Annie is extremely badass all throughout this episode.
It's warranted.
Now we get to the study group coming back to Fort Hawthorne to find out that it's totally ransacked. The only thing left is Vicky, who just loves to dance. This is the only life she knows now, so she can't stop dancing. And she gives away that the Black Rider totally ransacked Hawthorne, or Fort Hawthorne. I wonder how he probably tricked Starburns with some drugs or something.
Most likely.
Like, here, go get those drugs over there. Bop, bop, bop. Pierce comes out of the bathroom just with a white flag ready. He's just ready to surrender. He just doesn't want to get hit, and he still hasn't been hit, has he?
No, he made it out.
That's pretty lucky. And even here, how does he not get hit there by Annie, who's just pummeling all around him, but not
either
hitting him
Annie
at all?
is a really good shot and is purposely not hitting him, or he's more nimble than we thought. That
Maybe
Pierce
she just
Hawthorne.
wanted to see Pierce dance. Like,
There
dance
has
for
to
me.
want to see you
Dance for me.
dance.
This turns into a standout. They're all pointing their guns at Pierce, and Pierce gets his moment of being, I get it, I'm the bad guy, it's the bad guy, this is all just a game. And it's clearly become more than a game to these people, and Pierce has taken a stand against them in the game. But Annie says, okay, we'll treat it like a game, and she gets to continue to be the badass. They're going to have a standoff.
Which I loved the build-up for this. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't get to happen the normal way, but the payoff was much funnier. But I love a good old-fashioned draw!
Yes, and I liked that it also has the subtext of, Pierce says, well, don't make me do this to my favorite. And Annie was the one who voted for Pierce to stay. Mm-hmm. But now she's had it with Pierce that I don't think she'd vote that way again if they took another vote.
Yeah.
Pierce calls out the study group for how, maybe they're the bad guys and they're always leaving him out. Which, sure, they might not be the nicest to Pierce, but Pierce is a bad person.
Well, they're nicer to Pierce than
It's
anybody
different.
else is.
We missed it earlier in the episode when they were at dinner. Pierce says, I've kind of been a villain this year, and everyone's like, yeah. Robin says, yeah, you raped the Duquesne family.
Yeah.
Annie reveals to Pierce what was really happening, that they were voting on whether or not they'd let him be in the group next year, and the vote had to be unanimous, and there was only one person who held out, and it was Annie. And Allison nails that line delivery so hard. She's so good in this. We get one last callback showing what happened that time when they voted. Jeff looks disapprovingly at Annie, who smiles at Pierce as he walks in. Annie can't help but feel bad for Pierce, right? Pierce has kind of been there for her in some times that she's needed it.
Well, and I think she doesn't want to exclude him because she knows that he's alone. Right. But I think because of that, the drug episode, right, they kind of have bonded a little bit. Mm-hmm. Even though they had a falling out at the end of that, I think she still is closer to him than anyone else. Even in the Pierce dying episode, right? She was the one with the tiara that he just liked.
Right. And Annie was like, "Oh, I know he's messing with me." And it cuts back to Pierce. He's just my favorite. They're about to have a standout. They're going through the 10 dual commandments and everything, but it's interrupted. It doesn't get to happen the way we want it to, does it?
No.
There's Spurs, and the only person wearing the Spurs in this podcast are the Black Rider and Steven in the bedroom. So they know that they're about to be under attack and that he took out the whole fort, so they've got to be on their feet. Jeff's trying to stand up to him just because he wants to prove that he's the hot, cool cowboy around these parts. And you know what? I would take Joel McHale over the Black Rider any day, honestly.
I like a little
Jeff
stubble.
Winger.
So I'm going Black Rider in this one. Look at that bandolier around him with all the slugs.
Jeff's hat does kind of look like a Mountie hat.
Yeah.
The Black Rider's here to take them all out one by one, but even though this episode leaves a lot of things dangling for next week's episode, he doesn't get out of this one alive. And Pierce kind of gets to save the day, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. Again, want to give props to the costuming here because it's so good. The Black Rider looks like he rolled straight out of Red Dead Redemption, which is like a Western video game.
I think Pierce's blue vest,
it's great.
I love the way that they shoot that, them all staring at each other, the close-ups of their eyes, the close-ups of like their fingers twiddling over the gun, but then they also cut in a close-up of Pierce's like pained face and him like clutching his chest before he begins to fake a heart attack. This is something that Pierce does a lot in the show, and this is the first time we get to see it. It's so funny. The Black Rider, who's here to be evil, he's like, okay, well, this man's going to die, so we've got to put this away. But the study group is so unfazed because Pierce does this all the time, and he'd used it to get out of giving Abed gum recently, and he was faking this time too. He shoots the Black Rider when his guard is down, and he gets close to check on him.
That's so funny.
But then Pierce didn't do it for them. He did it for himself. He's a monster. He runs away. He wants to take all of the study group out. And the Black Rider calls his mysterious boss to let them know that he wasn't able to accomplish what he was supposed to accomplish. And when he says something shitty about Greendale, they are like, well, why do you go here if you hate the school? And it's given away that he doesn't go there. It's bigger than that. And he says he was just paid here to make sure that the money doesn't leave his boss. And Annie questions the ice cream company, and the Black Rider gets a really great line where he's like, you have no idea how big this all is. Very dramatic and climactic. And Annie, if she had just played nice, might have gotten to go to a Coldplay concert with him.
It's true. I mean, he had tickets, not tickets.
I'd probably pass on the Coldplay concert.
I think I might get sleepy in the middle because I like a lot of Coldplay songs, but not enough for a whole concert.
Yeah.
And I don't think seeing them live would do anything for me. Their halftime show at Super Bowl is like, okay, that's a lot of colors,
Boring.
I guess. Yeah.
The episode ends with Chang running wildly, still blindfolded, outside of the school. And he's trying to find a group, but he stumbles upon the ice cream truck that's manned by these almost stormtrooper-like figures that are coming in to swarm the school and just to take everyone out, kind of like Chang did in last year's paintball episode.
Yeah. Well, and Chang's getting hit with like a paintball Gatling gun, and that is not ideal. That is
pretty close
a lot
range.
Of pain. Mm-hmm.
Am I out? He says, because he can't see. He doesn't really exactly know what happened. And, next week's second half of this episode is more in the vein of Star Wars. So them kind of having this foreshadowing of the Stormtrooper-like characters. The mysterious ice cream cone comes out of the truck, and they all kneel to the ice cream cone. And it announces that no Greendale student can win the game. So it's Plan B, Operation Total
Invasion.
We were wrong. I think you said invasion.
I said invade, yeah.
But you didn't say it, yeah. And that's the end of the episode. Now, okay, the problem that I have is that there's this shroud of mystery of who's behind this, and then instantly in the closing credits thing, in the end tag, they give away who it is. They give it away that it's Dean Spreck. We've seen Dean Spreck before.
I was gonna say, have we seen Dean Spreck?
Yeah, because I think it was I forget exactly the episode, but there was one where he kept coming in and there was a weird sexual chemistry between him and the dean.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the Space Bus one. So it totally ruins that surprise when they didn't need to. They could have even had his voice. They just didn't need to show him like that. I thought it totally kills the momentum that they were building up. You're thinking like, even though it's silly for a sitcom, you're thinking like, who's in this ice cream costume?
Who is it?
What's really going on? And then immediately, oh, I guess it is. But all of these shots are really dramatic, and it makes for a good look forward into next week. I like the shot of Starburns like opening his chest like a sacrifice. The little bit where they talk about Little Rascals is nice, but there's nothing really to pick apart here. It's not your typical community in tag.
It's more so just a preview for the next.
Stay in next time. And that's the end of the episode. You know, I don't want to hate on the episode. I just feel like this one is a little too much spectacle, not enough funny, and some good substance, but doesn't. I don't know. I'm left glass kind of half full on this one.
I think I liked it a little more than you did. In the grand scheme, but I definitely see where it falls a little short in some areas.
I'm still really excited. Just about all the things I remember from these episodes was this week's. So I remember some of the Abed, like Han Solo stuff from next week's, but I'm excited to dive back into that because I do think there's less that I remember. And regardless of my feelings for this episode, I think there's a very, very clear standout for MVP, and it's Vicky.
Yeah, I think Vicky's moves, she moves like the queen of the waves.
Yeah,
and
her love of Twinkies really is the heart of this episode.
Yeah.
But it's Annie.
Yeah, Annie kills it.
And like I said, I don't know if this episode does a lot for Annie as a character, but Allison as Annie pulls off the vibe of what they wanted out of this like kind of female heroine in this episode so well. She's so badass, and she does a great job. Maybe it does do a little bit for Annie's character because it kind of makes you respect her a little bit. Maybe it helps her get some like gruff with the other people, you know? I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I think that Annie's performance in this was fantastic. Allison looked great. She nailed all the lines. Like, all the scenes were supposed to be intense were intense, but she still stayed true to her character. Yeah. The action scenes were awesome. I think that Annie really is the star of this first part.
I will give an honorable mention to Pierce. I think Pierce has a pretty good showing, and it's one of those episodes where Chevy seemed a little bit more energized than usual, which is always great to see.
Have you ever watched Westworld?
No, but I kind of know the vibe of it.
There's a character in Westworld he's like the Man in Black or something, but he's kind of the Pierce here, where he like runs shit in Westworld. He's like kind of the bad guy a little bit. Big scary, you know, but I think that he's kind of a mix of Pierce and the Black Rider, you know, in that, and I think that whole storyline worked for me really well, and I really enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah, the voting out of Pierce throughout this episode was really good, and Pierce in this episode I thought was really good. I love that blue vest on him for some reason.
Yeah, it looks great.
That's kind of wrapping up things this week. It was great. I can't believe that we've just got one last episode, one last measly season 2 episode, and then it's on to season 3, on to new pastures.
One last time.
Not one last time, you know. Well, I guess for season 2.
This is the end of the show.
Yeah, we've done all we wanted to do.
Yeah, we are going to go out on top, undefeated, unquestioned.
I don't know about unquestioned.
We peaked too early.
If by unquestioned you mean no one sends us in questions. And speaking of, if you'd like to be a part of next week's season finale, send us in some trivia, your episode MVP and your favorite funny moments for next week, for a few paintballs more. Send that into cantuspointpodcast@gmail.com. Steven, where else on the internet can the people find us?
You can find us over at ye olde Twitter. Make sure that to DM us the secret word from today's episode, as well as any future secret words, or just say hi, you know, send us some questions, ask us how we're doing, tell us which one of us you like better and why his name starts with a consonant. Cuties. Over at You Can't Disapod on Twitter. We're also at Can't Disappoint Podcast on Instagram. We're on Facebook and YouTube at You Can't Disappoint a Podcast.
Great. We're really glad that you guys listen. If you want to become a patron, support the show, get some extra content, that's at patreon.com/cantuspointpodcast. And yeah, we're doing this giveaway over the next couple weeks, so make sure let me look up one more time, by I think June 7th, the morning of June 7th, so 12 a.m., June 7th, midnight. Make sure you get in your entries by then. There are all kinds of ways to enter. You can retweet our pinned tweet. You can send us in the secret word. You can write us a review and send us a screenshot, or you can become a patron. All kinds of ways to get a really cool prize. So make sure you get on top of that. And also check out our birthday special. It's out right now. You could go right from this one to that one if you want. That's a lot of fun.
Do it.
Let's wrap things up here. It's been fun. I'm excited to see where the next year of the show is going to take us. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
From inside the Dreamatorium, Black Lives Matter, get vaccinated, don't eat beans if you're allergic to them. I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And we love you.
Yeehaw.
Is that all you got to say? That's your final words?
You don't think yeehaw was good?
I didn't say I didn't think it was good. I was just asking. I was just clarifying before
yeehaw.
Shut ye old book on another chapter of You Can't Disappoint a Podcast. The Ballad of Zach and Steven.
Oh, Zach and Steven.
So the yeehaw was going to be the end. Okay, we agree.
And many more.
Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you
Bye, everybody.
next week.
Yeah.
There's a sweater wearing coat